The true history of ancient human civilization is far older and was once far more advanced than we were ever taught in school. And in this video, I'm going to tie together 3 examples that prove that 1, the true age of ancient human civilization is far older, by more than double than that of what the textbooks have taught us. 2, that there was a massive global cataclysm that happened on Earth when human civilization was around. And it was essentially a total reset button for human civilization. That mankind was obliterated back into the Stone Age and had to start all over from scratch. And the 3rd example proves that not only were we alive at the time of the cataclysm, but that we somehow had the intellectual knowledge and capabilities to build a massive network of more than 200 underground cities that are completely unexplainable by scientists, archaeologists, and historians, some of which are hundreds of feet underground, more than 11 levels deep, have advanced air ventilation systems, and architecture that have completely dumbfounded modern engineers. Now, I do have a video on the cataclysm, but let me give you just a few key pieces of evidence that prove this, that include the most recent and technologically advanced scientific data ever taken. For example, ice core samples taken from both Antarctica as well as Greenland prove that there was 2 massive events. The first that happened approximately 12,980 years ago, and the second 1,400 years later, or 11,600 years ago, that show that there was a sudden, rapid, and massive 400-foot rise in global sea levels, which may have even have been 30 feet in the first 24-hour period of whatever this event was. It also shows a 15-degree Fahrenheit temperature swing, which is incredible because when you consider that global warming and climate change debates right now are focused on what will happen if there's a 3-degree Fahrenheit temperature increase. Well, this is 5 times that. Also at that same time, there was a massive extinction level event that killed off more than 75% of all mammals in North America, including 120 species of megafauna, which are animals larger than 100 pounds. Most of which you've probably never seen or heard of before, but they were absolutely incredible. Another key piece of evidence that happened at the same period of time is a mysterious black mat layer similar to the KT boundary that killed off the dinosaurs as evidence of an asteroid impact. This covers over 50 million square kilometers of the Earth's surface, nearly 25% of all the landmass, and evidence of it is found over 3 continents and dozens of countries around the world. This black mat layer includes iridium, nanodiamonds, extraterrestrial helium, which is all evidence of a cosmic impact, that a comet or an asteroid hit planet Earth. But it's completely mysterious because nobody has found the crater that would be the result of it. However, this would explain the rapid end to the last ice age that all happened at the same period of time. That essentially, a comet or an asteroid hit the North American ice shelf, which at the time was more than 1 mile thick of ice, and in some places more than 2 miles thick. And if an asteroid was to hit that ice shelf, it would have caused a massive thawing of a tremendous amount of ice, as well as vaporizing a significant amount of water into the atmosphere, only to be rained down over the entire planet for days and weeks to come, which completely corresponds with the data taken from Antarctica and Greenland on opposite sides of the planet that show that there was a massive 400-foot rise in sea level, and nobody can figure out how this happened. Nobody has an explanation as to why the last ice age ended so rapidly and so suddenly. Now this leads me into my second point, which is that the true age of human civilization is at least double than what we were taught in the textbooks, as evidenced by the site of Göbekli Tepe located in Turkey. This site is dated at least 11,600 years old, and it is completely mysterious. Nobody knows who built it, why, or how. But it is more than 7,000 years older than Stonehenge, which is largely mysterious in and of itself, and it is also 50 times larger. And only 5% of it has been excavated, but ground-penetrating radar has shown that so much of the site still remains underground. It contains more than 200 pillars, some of which range from 20 to 50 tons. And the site itself clearly has a celestial orientation, and what makes it even more interesting is that it is the world's very first north-south facing structure. But it's lined perfectly north, which is completely unexplainable because there was no way to do that even in modern times without having advanced astronomical knowledge. Also found at this site is evidence of advanced agriculture, which wasn't supposed to exist until nearly 6,000 years later by the Sumerians in Mesopotamia, also known as the cradle of civilization. This site in itself completely debunks what we were taught in our textbooks, and that the true narrative of ancient human civilization is far older and far more complicated than we ever realized. Now, Göbekli Tepe, which is located in Turkey, as I mentioned, leads me into my third example, which is that there is a network of more than 200 underground cities also located in Turkey in the Cappadocia region. The first thing that must be mentioned about these cities is that every scientist, archaeologist, and historian all agrees that they are completely mysterious. They have no idea when they were built, who built them, why, and especially how. And like I said earlier, modern engineers are completely baffled that they had the intellectual knowledge to strategically build them in the ways that they did. That essentially they carved around volcanic stone and even knew strategically where to place specific pillars in order to ensure the stability of the complex. And they have found zero evidence of any cave-ins whatsoever, which is pretty incredible. Let me give you the example of Derinkuyu, which is the most notable of these underground cities. Now, this site has not been fully excavated. They don't know exactly how deep it is or how many levels. However, National Geographic states that it has 11, and that it also has an advanced air ventilation system that consists of more than 50 main shafts that plummet more than 200 feet into the earth, or more than 55 meters. And it also has more than 15,000 subshafts that stem out from the 50 main shafts that they know of. The entire site of itself is huge. It spans across more than 4 square miles, or 10.4 kilometers, and like I said, it has not been fully excavated. It also connects to a nearby city through a 8-kilometer or 5-mile long tunnel carved out of volcanic rock more than 3 stories underground. It has hundreds, if not thousands, of rooms and was capable of holding more than 20,000 people and livestock comfortably, which is completely mind-boggling, considering that out of these 200 known underground cities, more than 40 of them have at least 3 levels or more, some of which have at least 10 levels that they know of. And they even have communication piping holes connecting from various levels to another so that way people can communicate in them. And they also have a system of locking doors, essentially 1,100-pound rolling doors that could be operated by one person that would prevent anyone from the outside being able to get in. Which many historians and archaeologists have stated that maybe the reason why these underground cities were built were to avoid raiders and invaders to their area, which is pretty illogical considering that there's more than 200 of these cities. In fact, there's a city located 2,200 kilometers away, nearly 1,400 miles, in Iran, known as the Nushabad Underground City. And if you look at photos of it, which I'll throw a couple up here for you, it looks like it was built by the same people. This could also explain the mysterious city of Petra, which is more well known for having been in the movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. But it is completely unexplainable. They don't know who built it. And even just a year ago, they found a whole other entrance to it, and it may have held as many as 20,000 people. Which reminds me, some of these underground cities located in Turkey were capable of holding more than 60,000 people for months on end, according to estimates. Again, to think that these were made just to stay away from invaders is incredibly illogical. Isn't it far more likely that we somehow had the intellectual knowledge and the physical capabilities to build these sites knowing that there was a cataclysm coming? Because again, we have no idea who built them or when. And now that we know that the history of human civilization is far older and was once far more advanced than what our textbooks have actually told us, it's time that we start asking new questions and start piecing together key pieces of evidence so that we can come up with far more logical explanations to the true history of human civilization. So to close this up, we know that because of Göbekli Tepe, the history of human civilization is at least double the age than that of what we were taught in the textbooks. We know that they also had advanced knowledge, and that, well, taken for a case, agriculture, as well as the perfect north-south facing, shows that we were essentially ahead of ourselves in what we thought we were capable of by at least 6,000 years. And because of this, we know that we were alive at the precise time of a massive cataclysm, when there just so happens to be a network of more than 200 underground tunnels, which to me seems like some type of arc system for survival. And when you tie these three things together, the most logical explanation is that yes, humans were alive, we were more advanced, and we were essentially wiped out. Anyways, guys, I'll leave it at that. I'm Jimmy. This is Bright Insight. Like and subscribe. I have many other videos on a whole wide variety of topics. Take care, everybody.